And joining us now, award-winning author Salman Rushdie, who has a new masterclass on storytelling and writing. That must have been fun. I know masterclass well. They do a great job. What was it that you wanted to teach your students?
Well, you know, I've never really tried to teach writing before, and the teaching that I do at NYU is of literature, you know, is of books. So I thought it was maybe about time that I tried to share some of the stuff that I've learned over the course of kind of like 50 years of doing this job. So it's been, I mean, I've been very impressed with the masterclass people. They're terrifically talented and professional and disgracefully young.
Yes, disgracefully young, I agree. And also they really help you crystallize, put into words what it is that you've been doing so well. What did you learn about the art of storytelling and writing?
Well, I mean, you know, over the years, you do pick up stuff. I mean, I remember there's a wonderful thing that Hemingway once said, where when he was asked about whether writers should be committed, you know, should have commitment. And he said the only commitment a writer needs is the commitment of the seat of his pants to the seat of his chair. And that idea, you have to sit down and stay sitting down, otherwise nothing gets written.
That's actually the hard part.
That's the hard part, yeah. So, I mean, there are very practical things that one can, I hope, pass on to young people or to older people who are just interested in making the journey from reading to writing, if you like, trying to cross that boundary, you know, to one side of the page to the other side of the page.
Mike Barnicle has the next question. Mike?
So, Mr. Rushdie, you just mentioned through Ernest Hemingway, one of the keys, obviously, is discipline. The discipline to sit and write what you've seen or what you've heard. But what about the other aspect of writing, of storytelling itself? And that would link it to imagination. How do you plan to use Masterclass to develop and have people articulate and live with their imaginations, which in some cases are filled with incredible stories, but you've got to draw it out. How do you do that?
Well, one simple way, I think, particularly for people who are starting out, who are inexperienced writers, is to kind of imagine that you're telling a story to a friend, to somebody you know very well. Just imagine that you're sitting together side by side on a settee, and you want to say, look, here's something interesting that happened. Let me tell you a story. And because you're talking to somebody you know, you can be relaxed and intimate and so on, but you also have to be interesting, because if somebody you know is bored, they're going to get up and walk away. You know, so if you imagine to yourself that you're telling the story, maybe even write it down in the form of like a letter to someone that you know. Tell somebody a story in your mind, somebody you choose as an audience person, and that's a good way to start, because we all tell stories. You know, it's not just professional writers who do it. In ordinary life, we all tell stories. You know, families have family stories, some true, some untrue, some embarrassing, some not embarrassing. But all of us, you know, in a family, when somebody joins a family, you tell them gradually the family stories. It becomes a way of belonging. Mm-hmm. And stories have that. They have that they become a way of belonging.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.